The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
Are you tired of being misguided by self-serving financial service profit seekers? Are you looking for a better way to take control of your destiny and create a financially free path for future generations? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Banking on Your Retirement podcast. We cut through the noise of the often self-serving financial markets with simplified yet foundational financial principles for creating a more peaceful, joyful, and prosperous life. So be brave and be free. This is your home. Now, here's your Banking on Your Retirement host, Johnny Ward.
Hi, welcome back to the show, Banking on Your Retirement. I'm Johnny Ward. I'm your host. And I want to just say that, when I listen to the intro, those are things that are like a piece of music, right? That was written once and then you go with it, right? It's permanent. And for now, we're going with it. But I wanted to, it's really important that you get to know me and what I'm about. And that's as big a part of this show as anything that I want you to understand that, I don't have all the answers, but I have some thoughts, and I do feel from my own experience that it's beneficial, and I want to share that. And the name of the show, Banking on Your Retirement, it sounds like, well, this is about your retirement. And it can be, but it's actually more about banking. And the reason that I titled today's show the way I did was you can plug into a banking system through a permanent dividend-paying whole life insurance policy and create your own banking system. And what is a banking system? It is a place to store, warehouse your capital for lending to yourself, your family, or to any other people. It is truly like a bank in that way. And you can have multiple branches. And those branches are actually additional life insurance policies that you have on yourself or others, in which you have an insurable interest. And that means that you will continually grow this bank. You will not be like the brick and mortar banks or the online banks that we think about and the ones that we've heard about even in the last year that go out of business, right? This is a concept that I'm sharing. I am actually a practitioner for the Nelson Nash Institute, and I'm an infinite banking practitioner. And so what I'm doing is sharing, the infinite banking concept. But it is a real concept that you can put into practice. And so why I say the banking system is for sale, make an offer, is because you can make this banking system as large as you want it to be, as small as you want it to be. And that means you can get into it at whatever cost you want to get in. But it will continually grow. It will never diminish in value. And what happens in a banking system is that you have capital that can be lent out and returned back to the banking system with a profit, right? There's a book. It's called Becoming Your Own Banker. It was written by Nelson Nash. And Nelson uses a lot of analogies. He bounces all over the place in the story. It makes sense if you read his book over and over and over again, which sounds like, wow, that sounds like a pain in the butt. Well, if you enjoy looking for a way that you can change the way life is going for you financially, this is an option that you should look at. Because what happens is we typically go to a third-party lender to do our financing in life. And some say, I don't want to do that. I want to pay cash. I want to pay it out of my own capital savings, right? And we never really think about the fact that, well, if we do that, we are self-financing. We are actually giving up. Instead of paying interest to a traditional lender, we're giving up interest. There is a great part of his book. There's so many great parts. It's only 93 pages. So I suggest that if you're listening here, is that you should get yourself a copy. Reach out to me or just look it up online, and you can find Becoming Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash. But he talks about somebody that would decide they want to get into the grocery store business. And he talks about the fact that you have family members. You have a spouse who comes and does shopping at the family-owned grocery store. And the temptation might be that you go not to the cashier to run your groceries through and pay your bill. The temptation is to go out the back door. He calls that stealing the peas, because the profit margins are not huge in this business and a lot of products. And if you go out the back door because you own the place and you're only making, say, and he uses the example of your wholesale cost for a can of peas is 57 cents, but you need to sell it for 60 cents and you'll be profitable. But your spouse, for example, who comes through and pushes the cart around, grabs all the groceries, they're what they call a captive customer. That means they're not going anywhere else to do their shopping. This is, our grocery store. So charge them a little bit more. So let me just take it from there. When you're creating your own banking system through one of these policies that I mentioned, is that you can borrow against the value of that policy. It is a capital pool called cash value. Yes, you're leveraging it. It doesn't come out of your policy. It continues to grow in value through dividends and guaranteed growth. But if you borrow against it, you are paying the insurance company an interest rate, and you are being charged as long as you have that capital outstanding, that you have a loan balance. The comparison to that grocery store and that captive customer is the fact that, well, let's just say you're paying 5.5% to take a loan against your cash value from the life insurance company. 5.5%. Well, why don't you pay 11%? Go and figure out what the costs are. I can help you. There's ways to do this on the internet with different calculators, and say, okay, I'll throw out some numbers. I'm going to throw out some rough numbers here, but let's say it's 5.5% with the insurance company, pay 11%. Well, all that means is over a term, say, of 4 years of payback, you're just going to be paying more, and you're going to basically pay off the balance faster. But let's say by paying 11%, instead of taking 4 years to pay back the money, it only takes you 3 years. But don't stop making that payment to yourself, to your own banking system within this policy. Let's say that the payments would have been $300 and you paid $400 and you paid it off in 3 years instead of 4 years. Well, now you've got a whole nother year. You're an honest banker. You decide you're going to pay yourself back for the next year because you said you would pay for 4 years. So now you're going to put in $400 potentially into your policy if it will accept it, which we can talk about. There's ways to structure them where they would have the room to put the extra money in there. But let's say you pay for 12 months, you pay that $400 that doesn't go back to the insurance company. It goes into your capital pool. Now, you can either do that as something in the policy, or you can set a side account and you're storing that cash away until you decide, oh, I want to start another branch of this bank. Now you have the capital to extend this banking system. That's really what this is about. I called it Banking on Your Retirement. I called the show Banking on Your Retirement because it does speak to the masses. Many of us are thinking, well, I can't really think about retirement. I got so many years ahead of me, right? Or, hey, yeah, I want to retire someday, so this gets my attention. And it is a little bit of an attention grabber, right? Is that, oh, he's going to be talking about how do I bank on my retirement? How do I get to retirement? This is financial advice. But it's just one of the options. Technically, what you're doing when you're becoming your own banker, as the title of the book goes, is that you are getting into business. You're buying a business. You're buying probably the best financial business in the world. And it might be your best decision. Because as Nelson says, you are always going to be in need of financing, right? Businesses, this one or some other business that you are considering or that you're in, those businesses come and go. But he says banking is eternal. And I would agree. We are either paying interest to someone else or we're giving up the interest that our capital can bring back to us. So let's extend this a little bit further. So whether you're borrowing against your policy, cash value, for your own financing within your own life, or you're financing others because you have this big capital pool, you have this bank, this banking system, you are always flowing the money out and flowing it back with a profit, which means that this continues to grow. It continues to grow whether you're borrowing, lending, or not. It will guarantee growth, and because you are part owner of this mutual life insurance company, you are part owner as a policy holder, policy owner. So that grows, but if you flow the money like a banker flows the money, the banker makes money by lending the money, right? Again, conceptually, there's other things we can say about the commercial banking world, but what we want to do is get the concept of moving the money. Don't let it sit idle. It's not just sitting down at the local bank in their vaults. They're moving. They're looking for people that want to take loans, and they can make a profit from that. You can do the same within your own financing needs, or if you build this with the idea that you're not just building it for yourself, and you're not even just building it for what is true for future generations, you can build this for others in your life, other opportunities, right? And so the more capital you have, the more potential opportunities you can entertain and, put forth. So with that said, we continue to flow it back in. That capital grows. We move the money back out again, and we continue that, and we build this banking system that never goes away. It is eternal. It will go beyond your life. It will go beyond your children's life and their children's lives. That's what happened with Nelson Nash. He had, I think, 46 or 47 policies on himself and other family members. where he eventually turned over the ownership of these policies to those family members. But he said in one of his interviews was, my grandchildren will never see the inside of a bank. And to him, that gave him great peace because it meant they had control over the banking function in their lives. So we're going to take a quick break and hear from one of our sponsors, and then we'll come back. And I actually want to talk a little bit about last week's show. And so please join me. Come on back.
Have you heard about Liberty Dollar Financial Association? Liberty Dollar is a private membership association that allows its members to purchase silver in different forms, which are lawful for use as mediums of exchange. Liberty Dollar Financial Association is a private alternative currency that is provided to members in both digital and paper warehouse receipts. They also sell physical Liberty coins for your personal possession, or they'll securely store your precious metals for you. They provide members with various services that allow them to use their silver's value as a means of exchange, such as their bill pay service, where they will pay your bills out of your silver account, similar to your current banker. Additionally, they offer a term deposit investment account where currently they are paying out in silver a guaranteed 1% per month, which can be compounded over a 1-year term. Liberty Dollar just celebrated 25 years as a silver bullion dealer, storage facility, and exchange. To learn more about Liberty Dollar Financial Association or to become a free member, visit ldrep.nl/BOYR. That's Liberty Dollar Financial Association.
What a perfect segue, right? Just hearing from Liberty Dollar Financial Association last week, episode 3 of this show, I interviewed Wayne Hicks. So if you haven't had a chance, go check out that show. I did want to tell you from, my heart, from my mouth, how I feel about the power behind Liberty Dollar. And that is that we can keep this in one single ecosystem. As he mentioned, he's looking to start up his own credit union. And I really want people to understand that in essence, this could be like your bank, right? And in general, by buying silver and then potentially using the warehouse receipts as a means of exchange, right? We do have an asset-backed currency, and that asset is the silver. The idea that if it's sitting there and I need to pay bills, the reason I might invest in silver is that I do want to hedge against inflation. Over time, it certainly has stood up to keeping a store of value for you. And yes, just like it would be sitting in their warehouse, their storage facilities, you would have it sitting there just like in a bank. That's really what it is. You're banking, you're storing. And when you want to make payments to one of your service providers, they have a bill pay process, right? They then go into your account, they sell the silver, and then they turn it into a means that they can send and make a payment for you. Well, in life insurance, if I was to take a loan against my policy, then I can have that money sent to my bank account. Why I'm talking about this is I want us to have the money go into the Liberty Dollar Financial Association's credit union, so that when it goes into their credit union, it stays within this ecosystem. I don't really trust all the commercial banks. I see them shutting people's accounts down. I saw the truckers in Canada. I saw these controls that these guys want to have. I want to keep it within this ecosystem. So when I go to pay it back, I could be paying back with my silver. I could be paying back with, again, It goes through the credit union first, then it goes to make my loan payments on my policy, and I start the whole process over again. I keep it within this system. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because Wayne talked about what is called a term deposit account. And he is offering a 1% return on whatever you put in there and say that you'll keep in there for 12 months. So, for example, if you had 100 ounces of silver after the first month, you would have 101 ounces of silver. And then that could be either put into a general bank account, storage account within Liberty Dollar Financial, or it could be added back into this term deposit, very much like a CD, certificate of deposit at a bank. But trust me, they're not paying you 1%. The reason he's willing to do that is because he wants what is needed for reserves. You have to have a certain amount of capital reserves on hand for you to be able to open up this credit union. So it's not just about buying silver. It's not just about, hey, this is a different way to do bill pay. Hey, this is a way to earn 1% every month. No, this is a bigger picture. It's a bigger picture for me, and I'm trying to emphasize it today and share with you that if you are considering, and it's easy enough, it's a free membership. And you also get referral payments, fees, in return for turning people on to what Liberty Dollar Financial Association is about. And so I encourage you to look at what they have to offer, become a free member, have a login, have a referral page, have access to all that they share in videos and what they're trying to accomplish. And it's an option. But for me, in this show that I'm putting on, it all ties together. It all works together. And it keeps it, as I say, within this single ecosystem. Yes, you have a banking system, and then you have this storage place that acts also as part of your banking system, because you can do your bill pay. You can even pay your premiums out of this inflation hedging solution. So I'm going to keep this show pretty short. I appreciate you listening to me. I look forward to hearing from people. Please comment. Please like the video. Follow me on your favorite podcast platform. And I look forward to just continuing to share. I'll try not to burden you with too much information all at once, but I will try to build upon this concept that you can think about as an option and that you could get into this business with what you're doing already. It's probably the easiest business to get into when you do it through a permanent whole life insurance policy or policies. All right. For now, I'm Johnny Ward, your host of Banking on Your Retirement, and I hope you have a great week.
Thanks for listening to the Banking on Your Retirement podcast. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and YouTube at Banking on Your Retirement. And don't forget to rate and review us on your favorite podcast platform. Thanks again for listening. The information expressed on this podcast is for informational purposes only. You should not construe any such information as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. Personal due diligence is the listener or viewer's sole responsibility.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.